Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another edition of Loyalty Live. In this series, we talk to the leaders in customer, channel, and brand loyalty about the technology, trends, and best practices that impact a brand's ability to drive unique experiences, engagement, but most importantly, customer loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Brandon Logsdon, who is the President and General Manager of Marketing Cloud Solutions for PDI. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your role at the company, and your background? It's always good to get to know those who are speaking with on a more personal level.
Oh, sure. So I've had the pleasure of kind of serving the convenience retail and petroleum industry for the last, going on 18 years. I joined a company called Accentus back in May of 2002. That company that I was CEO of was acquired by PDI in April of 2018. So it's going on 3 years now that I've been part of PDI by way of acquisition, but 18 years that I've been in the industry. And prior to that, I started my career as an investment banker, but quickly realized that was not where I wanted to stay. I had a real passion for technology and tech-enabled services, and had a couple stops at some startups before I landed at Accentus. So that's my background.
Okay, great. A fun fact. We always like to get a fun fact as well. Something that you enjoy doing. Could be we were talking with a marketer today, and he had a passion for extreme sports. We have people that have been born on the doorsteps or dropped off the doorsteps of Catholic churches when they were 2 years old in Singapore. So we've got some interesting stories. Was there a fun fact about you that's something you're passionate with, something that you love to do?
Certainly not something as interesting as being dropped on a doorstep, but kind of in the vein of action sports or extreme sports, my family and I, we love the mountains. We love skiing in the winter, golf and hiking and biking in the summer. And so we try to spend as much time as we can in Park City, Utah. We love coming out to Park City and hanging out. I have a wife and 3 young kids, and so it's great family time whenever we can make it happen.
That's awesome. How old are your children?
So I've got a rising 2nd grader, 6th grader, and 8th grader.
Oh, okay. Are they do skiing kind of their thing? Are they active in other sports? I'm envious with 3 kids. You have time to do anything, because I have 4 and I have no time to do anything.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, what we have found is skiing has been a great way to kind of galvanize the family, because we're all going to the same destination, doing the same thing. When we're not doing that, and to your point, when we're in Dallas, it's we're running to basketball and soccer and lacrosse and all the things, and it gets hectic really quick, which Absolutely. Is why we value that time on the slopes together.
That I'm envious for sure. That sounds like a lot of fun. Could you give us a little background on PDI, your company? You talked about some of the acquisitions you've made, kind of what you guys do, how you do it, what industries you work with.
Yeah, you bet. So PDI, we're an enterprise software company at our core, serving downstream petroleum and convenience retail. And so, we don't go into exploration and refining, but really where gas is deposited for pickup and transport to a site is kind of where our motion starts. Okay. And then all the way through the supply chain, from when that gas is then sold in the B2B arena and priced by a wholesaler, to then ultimately deposited at a dealer location, where then that product is sold to a consumer. And then all the convenience retail motion that goes along with that is really the market that we play in. And then from a solution portfolio, PDI 6 short years ago was really focused North America, back office, kind of accounting and ERP solutions. And then through really just an amazing story of organic and inorganic growth, today we serve this industry globally, and we serve it across 5 key solution areas. The core ERP solution that I mentioned, the marketing and loyalty solutions and payment solutions that I'm responsible for, which came by way of acquisition. So Accentus was the business that I mentioned that I previously led. We were acquired in April of 2018. We've done now 5 follow-on transactions, follow-on acquisitions underneath kind of our platform that we rebranded Marketing Cloud. So we acquired Outside Networks, we acquired C-Store Pro, we acquired Swift IQ, Zipline, and now most recently GasBuddy. So that's 5 of about 20 total acquisitions that PDI has done. The other 15 or so acquisitions have come across the ERP business that I mentioned, but then our logistics line of business, where we have logistical software solutions for the industry, our pricing line of business, which also rolls up to me. So I've got loyalty, marketing, payment, and pricing. And that's where we provide software for B2C and B2B pricing of petroleum. And then lastly, one of our newer lines of business is our security line of business, where we recently acquired Cybera and Control Scan, and those 2 companies form our security line of business. So a very broad array of software and solutions that we provide convenience retail and petroleum marketers.
So you mentioned that that's kind of your kind of most kind of focused industry, right? What you do in the fuel and C-store space. Obviously, with the acquisitions you have, give the customers a great data set that they can drive the experiences and customer loyalty through. What are some of the challenges that you see that brands have in that industry from developing, sustaining loyalty in that industry? I know if you don't own the fuel relationship, you don't own the convenience store relationship, that can create a lot of challenges as well. Technology, making sure you have consistent go-to-market pumps, or at least integration, can be a challenge as well. Obviously, your back office addresses some of that. And what are some of the biggest challenges you see in that industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just hit a mark on, I think, 2 of the key challenges, which is you have an interesting dynamic in that unlike a lot of other retail classes of trade, you've got gas pumps, which is kind of the leading edge of consumer interaction oftentimes, right? People pull onto the forecourt, pull up to the gas pump before they go into the C-store, or whatever the interaction might be. These are self-serve kiosks out in the elements, wind, rain, sleet, cold, you name it, right? I mean, it's a different technology kind of ecosystem than I would say most other retail classes of trade deal with. And so that creates some challenges. It also creates opportunities, but to your point, it creates some challenges. You also then have a highly fragmented market. So in the US, we have 150,000 convenience stores, most of which have petroleum attached. Within that, 50,000 are chain operated, chain defined as 2 or more stores under common ownership. 100,000 of the 150,000 are defined as single store operators. So truly one person, one store. And then all of those locations, or not all of them, many of them subordinate to your point, major oil brands, right? Where you then have most of the major oils don't own the downstream asset. So you have some unbranded chains, you have chains that have multiple brands, right? And then in that kind of framework, then you also have these dealers, these single store operators that subordinate within a lot of the company owned and operated networks that the industry calls wholesalers. So to somebody that's outside of our industry listening to this, they're probably like, what did he just say? Like, this sounds so confusing. Well, it can be, right? I mean, this is a market, downstream petroleum and C-store, that has a very complex supply chain. And then as a result, when you think about customer loyalty, and you think about kind of the 3, key things that you want to do, you want to acquire consumers into a program, you want to engage them into the program, and then you want to glean insights and collect data so you can become data driven and really create customer loyalty in a profitable and meaningful way. It's really hard to do in this market segment. And so you have to have intimate knowledge of these complexities. And then you have to have technology, solutions, and know-how that help make sense of these complexities so that you can deliver a meaningful program that's going to drive scale and going to drive true customer value and loyalty.
Absolutely. And I think you talked about the kind of three pillars that you have for customer loyalty: and acquire, engage, and clean insight. How do you define customer loyalty? Is that how you define customer loyalty, and what does it mean to your organization? But more importantly, what does it mean to those convenience store operators and their relationships? How can they drive deeper customer loyalty?
Well, yeah, it's a good question, Mark. I mean, I think first and foremost, people, generally the industry, we have this thing called loyalty programs. And what we always tell customers is that, you could call it anything else, right? Anything you want. You call it a marketing program, right? You don't have to call it because loyalty is the outcome. It's the result we seek. To do loyalty and to do it well, you have to be using data to profitably change consumer behavior.
Right.
And that's our definition of loyalty, is the use of data to profitably change consumer behavior. And if you can do that, then the outcome that you will derive is greater customer loyalty. And so,
yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. So when you look at the acquisition, the Gas Buddy acquisition, what does that mean to PDI and kind of your amalgamation of other disparate technologies, and what will that potentially mean from a consumer-facing kind of impact and outcome as well?
Yeah, so I think first of all, thinking about the consumer, we think this is a great opportunity to bring more value to the consumer, right? So give the consumer the ability to, save more on gas, save more in the C-store. And if we do that well, we'll then be benefiting the retail customers that we serve, because we'll be creating opportunities at the very intersection of consumer desire and need and the offerings of our retail partners that we serve and support through our software and the loyalty programs that we manage. And so, some ways that that'll manifest itself. There's 6 million active Gas Buddies every month on the Gas Buddy app. And we will create, eloquent ways for consumers to have an on-ramp into customer loyalty programs. So said another way, we'll be effective in how we communicate to a Gas Buddy the existence of a retail loyalty program and the opportunity to reap more benefits at the retail locations that they are frequenting. We also will then naturally use it as an intercept tool to make certain if there's a consumer that's not frequenting a customer loyalty program in a trade area that we have visibility that they are in, we will make them aware of the value that they're potentially missing out on. And then furthermore, we have an offers business where we source CPG offers directly from brands nationally. These are incremental dollars that our team goes out and secures. And we'll start to make Gas Buddies aware of these offers and give them an opportunity to go into the C-stores that participate in our offer network to redeem that value, which will create value for the consumer and value for the retailers that participate in our network.
Absolutely. When you look at kind of the immediate, maybe near term, are there other enhancements you're going to do for the Gas Buddy app, or maybe even in an integrated manner with some of your other platforms?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple things that maybe some people aren't aware that Gas Buddy does, but they have some B2B applications that are on the back end of their platform. One being a product they call Business Pages, and Business Pages today is really two things. It's a listing service to make sure that brands, C-stores, and petroleum sites have accurate data on the common platforms that provide listings, Google, Bing, et cetera.
Right.
To make sure that, when a consumer types in a store location, it actually navigates and directs them to the right location, there's a lot of erroneous data in those systems. And so Business Pages helps clean that up. And then there's a reputation management component where C-store and petroleum operators can see in real time what consumers are saying about their brand, about store experience, about site cleanliness, about operations, about employees, et cetera. And that's, I think that's a very unique and innovative product in our space. And we intend to bundle that capability with our loyalty solutions, because we think that voice of customer and understanding what's happening at the ground level is a very, very big and underserved opportunity in our industry. And so adding that to our loyalty platform, we think is really compelling. And then the third thing that we intend to do there is to take some of our insights capabilities that we acquired with Swift IQ and provide greater insights than are currently being provided relative to what our Gas Buddy's doing, right? Because one of the unique things about Gas Buddy is we own the consumer relationship. And so we have more, I'd say, control, if you will, over what we can share with retail partners relative to where Gas Buddies are shopping, when they're shopping, what they're buying, competition, so on and so forth. And so being able to use that in a smart way that benefits our retail partners and how they think about their business, how they grow their business, how they derive, campaigns and strategies, we think is going to be really, really powerful.
That's awesome. So you talked a little bit about the reputation management. Obviously, great interest in there. We have a number of fuel stores that are members of Loyalty360, and that's obviously very germane to them. Whether it's some of the kind of the happy or not smiley faces, or actioning that data, making it simple. But I think having that as part of an integrated offering is obviously great for those, because from a technology integration perspective, as you mentioned, some of the unique challenges that are kind of readily apparent within the C-store industry. I think you're addressing them in a very unique manner.
Yeah, no, we're excited. I mean, I think one of the things we've kind of our core and kind of the genesis of kind of marketing cloud solutions, we've always been really good at the site level integration, right? Because if I go back, again, 18 years when I first came in this industry, that's kind of what we've always done. We've always connected the dots at the site level of helping retailers reach consumers through technology. And Gas Buddy's taken a completely different approach, in so much that Gas Buddy has zero integration at the site level, right? It's a experience born originally on the web, now in an app, and it's completely detached from the site. And so finding ways to harmonize and blend the technology that we already have connected to the site level and the point of sale, and then merging that with now this audience that's large and scaled and sticky, is just, I think, an opportunity that this industry has not seen before.
That's interesting.
We're pretty excited to bring it forward.
Well, it's very interesting. The acquisitions you've made enhances the platform that you already have. How do you think those who may be looking for new technology or looking for ways to augment their customer loyalty platforms can leverage your technology to drive better experiences, to drive more loyalty?
I think it's a good question. I think first and foremost, our strategy is, we want to have a fulsome end-to-end solution for our customers, because many customers ask for that. Yep. Having said that, Mark, we don't want the story to stop there. So for people that want to use pieces and parts of our ecosystem, we're able to do that as well. So, I think that if there are, subscribers to your Loyalty360 org that have existing loyalty programs and existing technology, the answer is not always throw out what you have to replace it with something else. It can very much be an augmentation of what you have. Great example is our Insights Cloud. We have a very innovative application for looking at data and creating actionable insights from the data. And you can use that application running any one of our competitors' loyalty applications, right? Conversely, if you have an analytics engine that you really like, and you like our loyalty engine, well, you don't have to use our analytics engine, right? You can use our loyalty engine, and we can export data to whatever data warehouse or data lake or data facility you're interested in. And I think that to me is kind of where loyalty is at today. Is you have to have, I think it's important to have fulsome solutions that for people that want to economize with a single vendor, they can do that. At the same time, I don't think the answer should always be you have to use everything we offer because, it's a complex ecosystem and there's a lot of cost that's already been, made, a lot of investment made by retailers. And it's a constant game of how do you take the investment you've made and continue to make it better, right?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's great. It was great learning more about obviously what you're doing, the Gas Buddy application, and how it will integrate into your offering. But I definitely think there is a number of entities out there, especially in the fuel space, where they don't have that integrated offering, like the Wawas or the racetracks or those. They need some help. So I think this is great here. And as always, Brandon, it's great talking to you and seeing what you guys are doing.
Yeah, no, we thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for everything you guys do to serve the industry so well from a loyalty perspective. And thanks for the coverage. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.